I just got this off of here. What the fuck is this? Why? What? It's like somebody just shoved that in there. I think I'm gonna JB Quick this onto their pod filter for fun. That's what they were using for a vacuum. It's really just venting the... Okay, so hang on. I had to look at that for more than a half a second to freaking really get what they were doing here. So you don't need this going into the pod filter. Like, this was unnecessary. Your crankcase just needs to vent. So you put a filter on your crankcase, and you put a separate filter on here, because you're not shoving air through this and adding extra flow. This pod filter's just letting all that fucking air go wherever the hell it wants to. So this is pointless to be thrown into here like this. You put your own filter here, and this shouldn't have a hole in it. So this was unnecessary. And basically, you just had extra air coming through here that wouldn't be filtered. That's all that was really happening here. You can't make this shit up, man. Shit. Okay. So, got this carburetor off. Look at this shit. That should be illegal. That should be freaking illegal. Those are screws with no heads. I'm stubborn. Like, I'm tempted to drill those out and put new screws in this bastard. They made it this way so that you have to buy a new damn carburetor. I'm gonna try to clean this out the best I can and see what I can get here. Well, since I can't get it apart, I popped this vent right here, or drain plug here. I drained out the gas that was in it. Then I started spraying through all of the orifices, going the opposite direction, like back down here, and letting all the trash run out this drain. So, for all intent and purposes, the pathway should be straight, but I can't see that main jet in there. If this doesn't fix it, I'll either have to throw this on the vise, drill out those screws, and put new screws in it, which is doable, or order a whole new carburetor. So that's where we're at on that. I'm going to get some JB Quick mixed up. I'm just going to put their tube back here, because while I could give them my vent filter and put this filter on my golf cart, it's a female end here, and then you got a hose. I'd be shoving a hose into a female connector and then half-ass clamping it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't need that kind of treatment. This just needs to not throw oil anywhere if it decides to throw some oil one day, like spill a little bit of blow-by or whatever. That keeps this half-ass lubricated so that it's not dry as hell and letting shit through it. So technically this isn't a bad idea. It's just the execution was poorly done, or poorly implemented. So I'm going to reseal this onto here, because you're just getting air into the carb, and it's got to be jetted for this to work properly. Alright, that's what I'm going with. Hell, that thing might have been factory that way, and something's just missing, like it had a different plug in it. I don't know. But that's where I'm at. Stick this back on, see if I can get it to crank. They got a slight hole in their line here. I'm going to take my trusty kitchen scissors. I'm going to chop that a little shorter. We'll get this hooked up and see what it does. It should fire up. I'm optimistic. Before I drive myself too crazy, I want to document another finding here. Maybe I can turn on my flash on the phone. You see inside here is a decent sized little connector. That's a decent sized little post right there. If you look at this, that's much smaller. Maybe I can stick them side by side. Hard to do all of this one-handed. Come on, cooperate. See, one's much bigger than the other. The one on the left, I don't see how it could ever fit on that. It does not snap on. It doesn't stay on. It's not the right size. Like, I don't see how that could stay on. This, on the other hand, that's on there. Like, this is locked on spark plug boot. I just unscrewed it from another plug wire because these things thankfully have a sharp end on here, so you actually can screw these directly into the end of your cable. So I'm probably going to unscrew this one, remove it, and replace it with this because that's not making a good connection. I don't even see how that fits on there. I feel it like slip over and kind of grab like that. It kind of clicked, but if I grab it, barely any pressure and it comes off. So you could bump that and then this thing wouldn't be running. Like, I'm barely pulling on that and it's coming off. So I think I'm gonna replace that. Get them a nice clicky one that don't just come off while I'm here. I went to unscrew this connector. It pretty much just fell right off, and the end actually had rust and it was gross looking, so I just cut not even a 1/4 inch of that bad boy off. I'm gonna screw this into the end. It's got a little pointed end there. I'm gonna screw it directly into the wire in the center of this new spark plug cap, spark plug cap. Yeah, it's not as beautiful and silver as the other one was, but it's on there. So yeah. So I found some old tubes of JB Quick, and I think I'm tempted to use them because they're still nice and mushy, nice and is wet. So is this though. What I want to do here, this piece, if I took the rubber off and put this flat through the top with some JB Quick, it would be resting on here and I wouldn't be able to get a hose in that because it'd be up against the top here, like that. It'd be too close. I couldn't really get my hose on there like I want to. So I'm gonna leave the rubber piece on this. I'm gonna run it through, but on the other side here I want to get a bunch of JB Quick and leave it where it's held in while it dries, of course. But if I get the JB Quick on the inside, this can't pull out. So just like how this nipple is, it's smaller and then has a bigger barb on the tip. I'm just gonna put enough JB Quick around this bad boy and let it dry to where it can't pull out. And then we won't let any more trash in here. That's all that really matters. I could leave the hose disattached and just slap this on there. I could throw a piece of tape on this and cover their crankcase breather or whatever, but I'm just going to stick with what they got and just reattach it like this and go with it so that I don't have to do another filter for their crankcase and everything else. This should be good. So let me find some stuff to mix this in and we'll get to stirring. I've got a bunch of JB Quick in this thing, and it's just sitting on that piece. If you look straight down through here, I have completely surrounded that thing with JB Quick like a little volcano. So when that dries, that plug's not coming out of there. And if I push this out of the way and get lower here, I actually went around that whole rubber seal with JB Quick as well. So that should seal it the way I want to seal it. I just don't want any more trash getting back in that carb. I'll let that cure for a little bit, and then I'll pop it back on and see if this thing will crank up for me or not. Okay, I'm going to be completely honest here. I did not expect this to work this good. I expected it to work, but damn. So I got it around the top here. This little bit of black you see right here is actually just paint that I didn't get off. The rest of this I scrubbed really good. There's a little bit I got there on the tip. That'll be fine. I sprayed it off with this isopropyl alcohol. I've been keeping it in my daughter's little water squirt bottle now. So I've been using it to clean computer parts and electronics and stuff. So I figured I'd spray this down real quick, get it nice and clean before applying this. I got it all over that barb, all the way, it's probably sticking through there about that tall. I covered all of that like a little volcano full of JB Quick. And I mean, this thing is solid. It's not coming off. It's part of this now. So now the little crankcase vent or whatever they got going. Yeah, crankcase vent. We'll hook that up, pop this on here, and see if it'll crank up for me one time. It's starting to get cold out here. I'm about done for the day. That worked out pretty damn good though. Let's try it out. That's a sweet little repair if I do say so myself. I hadn't put the clamp back up on it because I didn't really even have to push it that far. There you go. That ain't going nowhere. Just like that. Let's see what it wants to do. It's cranking and then dying. It's acting like the carburetor's still clogged. But I'm gonna have to drill out the carburetor to actually clean this, or just buy another carburetor. I'll talk to the owner. But if I make sure it's choked, go ahead and give it some gas. Ooh, shit. It won't even attempt to start without being choked. This thing's awkward because it's so short. Pulled the carburetor back off. I've got the gas line pinched with my pair of needle nose vice grips that I got just specifically for stuff like that. I actually needed them for, did a Starlit headliner a while back, and I knew if I got these just for poking the needle through when I got done, I could use them for pinching off gas lines and stuff for specifically something like this. So they live in that toolkit so that when I'm pulling a carburetor, I can just say, pinch, you stay there, and pull the carburetor. I need to get these screws out, and of course they don't have heads because it was machined this way. They're assholes. So I went down to Ace Hardware. I gave them two $20 bills, and I got this screw extraction set. It's 4 bits. You got a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna take number 1. I'm gonna run this bit to get my hole started. Then you flip it around, run this bit, and you run it in reverse. Back those out, and then I need to find some screws. I got a bunch of old carburetors in here, Most of them are the single bolt on the bottom, like so. But I do have some little screws yonder. I got screws and stuff. I'll find something. Most of my bigger ones are like that, though. I'm sure I can find something either way. I would need to order a carburetor and wait for a carburetor to get here. And if I can get this one out and get 2 screws back in it, I don't need to. So that's what I'm going to do real quick. If it falls through and this isn't like an instant success kind of scenario, I'll just give up on it. But I wanted to give it the good old college try one time. I went ahead and threw a rag on this thing and put it in the vise. It's not really tight, but if you've ever messed with a vise before, it don't take much to get it to grab firm, and it's not like eating into my shit here or anything. Let's drill this out real quick and try out my new freaking, what is it, $29 bits? They give me $11 back. Yeah. I'm actually backtracking for a half a second here. I'm going to get one of these bits out of here, the smallest one I got, or possibly a smaller one. I got another kit. Where are you? Maybe it's another bag. One second. Move that out the way. Yeah. Maybe in here. Whatever my smallest bit is, I want to use it to get a start on this thing. Why are you not cooperating, Mr. Box? Oh. Because it was unlocked in my bag and I locked it when I picked it up. Yeah, 1/16. Huh? I've got 1/16 in there as well, but I might as well use one of my old ones. I need to score a mark in the center of these, and I want to make sure I get the center. I'm going to use a regular drill bit, just enough to get me a spot. I want one of those little punches that you push down and it clicks and it pops and makes a dent. I could maybe do that with one of those as well. But yeah, I want to make sure I get a good center point before I use that. Alright, you can see where I took my 1/16 inch bit and just barely made a center mark. Just to make sure I'm right in the middle of those heads. Pretty much right where I want to be. So now I'm going to run the number 1. Let me get it here where it'll focus. Run the number 1 backwards, and then I'll spin it and hit it again. I didn't drill down super deep because I was scared of the bolt being not as thick as it is. Now that I see how thick these bolts are, I'll drill the next one even deeper. But that one came right out, and that also gives me something to find my pitch for my next screw. So I'll go ahead and pop this other one out and get this thing cleaned up. Alright, I just pre-drilled this one. Let's see if I can catch the magic here. Gotta love a freaking screw extractor. I drilled deeper with that one, like I was talking about, and it grabbed it just fine. There she be. I'll find new screws for this, but damn, I'm gonna have to give that a little whack to get off of there. I'll be right back. That's what we wanted to see, boys and girls. I just pulled these 2 jets out of here, and they are clogged and gross. Now the fun part is, I just came back from Ace Hardware, and I forgot that I need carburetor cleaner. So I think I'm running back to Ace, but this thing will crank right up after I finish that, for sure. And that's all that was wrong. Status update. We've got carb cleaner. I went ahead and grabbed 2 cans this time because I keep going through this crap. About to clean this thing up. I went ahead and got my headlight and my safety shades because I hate when this shit almost blinds me. So, yeah. Let's clean this thing up real quick. I got me a Mountain Dew too. See, I got my little carburetor cleaner stew going on here. Yeah. It's coming clean. I just got the seal press fitted back in here with my fingies. I wasn't thinking about it. Again, carburetor cleaner will make this rubber expand. I should have went ahead and just pulled it out first, but it's clean now. It's good. We got that whole top layer of crusty nastiness out of there. Pulled off left glove again, a little too late. I keep forgetting carburetor cleaner mixed with this latex. It almost feels like pepper spray. Like it gets really hot, and it was just starting to get toasty. I just took them off and it feels like I got jalapenos all over my fingertips. So we're gonna clean these jets and then put it back together. I've got to find some screws like these. I'm gonna start looking here in a second. It's like 7:30, so at this point I'm forgetting shit. Not forgetting shit for what I'm doing, I'm forgetting to record little clips and stuff. This is how nasty the other main jet looked. This is my little pilot jet or whatever, the other jet. I'm cleaning this and then putting it back the rest of the way together. I've already sprayed out the main jet, made sure all of the little tiny jets in it are clean. I pulled this end cap off of the jet and I pulled the whole jet all the way out. I cleaned inside this little cap piece that screws down to this piece with the wrench right here. All of that's been cleaned. I cleaned my float needle, cleaned the float. It's literally just this jet and finding screws that'll fit this thing. Okie dokie. You can see through all of these little holes, and you can see daylight through there now. I started spraying carb cleaner through this way and could not get it to spray out the end. I shoved it on this end and cupped my fingers around it like that with the hose in here. Sprayed a couple times and it finally blew out like a little plug. Sprayed through it a few more times, and I've got a torch tip cleaner that will run through all of the other carbs that I mess with, the smallest one here. It wouldn't go through the hole, but I got it down to the tip of that recess, and I knocked a bunch of gunk loose and all. So I knocked the gunk loose on one side, then I came from the other side and knocked it loose, and then sprayed it real good. I'm pretty confident it's clear now. It was really clogged before. There we go. You can see the daylight through it right there if I zoom in. Nice and clear. Nice and clear right there. Let's see the little tiny hole in there. That's clean too. It's hard to hold it. I've been drinking Monster Energy and fucking with power tools and chemicals and shit. Alright, I'm gonna put this in and look for a screw. This thing should crank right up. So we found the exact pitch thread we need from some old door hardware. Mom and I were out looking through some old screws in Bob's shed, and I was like, this is about the size of the bolts that go through a door and hold your damn handle on. Perfect size, same pitch. I laid them up on these original screws right here, like put them thread to thread, and they are the same exact pitch. So now I just need to chop these down shorter with a Dremel, and I want to make sure I don't mess up the very beginning of the thread. So I believe there's a nut in there that'll fit this. If not, I need to thread this through something and then cut it off. That way I don't screw up the beginning of my threads here. We'll see. I just need to make them shorter and we're good. All right. I've got 2 identical screws, and just to show everybody I'm not crazy here, see how this screw goes all the way through? Now if you look at it, see it's got a little wobble in it? The original screw has a little play even when it's all the way through. This screw, all the way through, little bit of play in it. And if I take one of the original screws here and lay it down on the counter, table, whatever, if I push these together, you can see they perfectly mesh. They're the same pitch. So I lucked up and got the right screws. So I'll just take this one out and take out that one that I put in to show you how this works, and I'll pop the bowl on. This thing will be running in just a minute. I can't test drive it till tomorrow because I got to put air in the tire and I can't see shit. So let me do this real quick. Okay, I've got my phone up in a weird spot here, but I want to try to crank this thing. I just got it back together. I haven't even tried to turn it on yet. I still got my headlight on. Alright, it hasn't had any gas run through it, so we're gonna want to choke it. 1 second. Alright. Choke is up. We want to make sure it's in neutral. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and give it throttle. Oh, kill switch is on. Still a little weird. That's exceptionally strange, unless I didn't drain their gas out and go with fresh gas. So, dare I say that smells weak? This might also have bad gas in it. I'm gonna pull that gas line. I'm gonna empty this out. I'm gonna give it some fresh gas. That is very strange behavior from a clean carburetor. It's 8:30 at night. I'm not giving up on this because it's very clear that is not potent smelling gas. Like, even as it's dumped out this much, I just stuck my face down to it and just kind of took a sniff. It's not very strong at all. So before I think I've done something wrong here, it's probably just something I haven't done yet, and I need to start remembering that. It's not that you did something wrong. You just haven't done something yet. Instead of pulling the line out of the top of the carb here, I just pulled it loose and then unscrewed the drain screw here. I'm letting it drain straight out the bottom of the carburetor bowl because everything's clean. It's just dead gas. I think that's what it is. I'm sure they could maybe use a new spark plug. I could check the spec on this thing and gap it to spec and see if I have a plug laying around that might be fresher. But I think our gas is a big part of our problem here. So I'm going to let it drain out till it quits dripping. Then I'm going to put some gas in it. And then I'm going to let that drain through and fall out a little bit. Then I'll put it all back together and try to crank it up one more time, because I feel like it's just something like that that's the final issue here. And it should be running now. I let all the gas drain out. I put a little bit of my gas in there to let it run out. I checked here to make sure we don't have a spark arrestor or something that's stopping us. That's not what's happening. I know that carb's clean at this point. I think it's bag gas. But if it's not that, we don't have a spark arrestor. At this point, you would think you had a vacuum leak or the carb's just not clean. I triple checked that carburetor. I think it's the gas. The only other thing that I've read about online, they say the valves are built out of a metal that's kind of easier to bend than normal on these little Chinese dirt bike Dilios, these little automatic bastards. They say that when they get hot and you've been running them, it'll actually tighten up the valve clearance, and you actually need to adjust it and loosen it back up. So I think it was 0.008 for the intake, 0.0013 for the exhaust, but I'll double check. If I'm wrong and it wasn't the bag gas, the only other thing I can think of is valve clearance. And me possibly have missed something in that carb, but I swear I was very meticulous with that carburetor. But you could always break it down further and soak it. Like, yeah, there's more stuff we could do, or just buy the carburetor for it. I just really think this one's fine. Let's try this one more time. My headlight off. Alright, switch is on, everything's back together, got some fresh gas, I've got it choked for now, double checking out here. Okay, it ran for a half a second after I unchoked it that time. Alright, we got a cap right here on the top and a cap down here on the bottom that needs to come off. I could turn this by hand like I usually do, but I saw from some videos I can take off this cover. There's a mark on here for top dead center, and then this cover comes off of here, and there's another mark that you can match up so that you're on your compression stroke. There's a little bolt right here. I need to pull it. When I pull that bolt, this cover will come off. I pull this cover off, then I can just turn it over by hand until it's lined up and get my top dead center and know for a fact that it's exactly where I want it. Then I want to do 3/1000ths and 5/1000ths. So let me go ahead and do that and see if this thing will fire up and run right. So the bolts on the other side that I got on that pedal right there, those are 8mm. This side is a 10mm. Oh, I see the cover coming off. I'm gonna quit recording this, that way I can take that off by hand and it not fall on the ground, but this bolt makes this come off. Here's another one of those interesting instances where it's like, why didn't I pull this spark plug first? I'm gonna go ahead and do the valve adjustment. I'm sure it needs it, but just pulled the spark plug. It's smashed. Like there is no gap. I don't see how that's sparking. Like I very well might could just gap this and it starts running fine. That's on me. I checked every other thing first. But look at that. That is such a minute gap. It's like, it's practically touching. Like shorting. Well, there we go. Add that one to the record books. But this thing's been interesting anyway. I mean, so they haven't been riding this thing. Nobody's been cranking this thing up and cruising it around. They bought it used. Check out our lemonade. Anybody want some? A little bit of cloudy lemonade. Nobody's been riding it, so it needed the whole once over. The oil's black, it's low. That's the only other thing I'll do. So I'll gap this plug. It could probably use a replacement plug cross-referenced for it. It's a tiny little bastard. Yeah, oil change, valve adjustment. Let's get that done. I can't believe I didn't check that first, but I mean, that's the worst I've ever seen a plug gapped in my life. I've never seen one gap that bad. Ever. You live and you learn. I pulled the plug because I didn't want compression while I turned this over. I've got this all set up. There's a mark on here somewheres. I haven't looked for it yet, but there's also a mark on here. We're gonna line up both marks and it should give us top dead center. I'm gonna fill it out with a screwdriver as well, the way that I normally do it. Like, I can get it close on the compression stroke and I can turn this with one hand and hold a screwdriver on the piston through the other side on the cylinder. I can do it by hand. I was just wanting to look at it this way because I saw people do it this way. I see what I'm looking at now. When you're right here, the T, you line up with that hash right there, that little notch right there at the tip of my finger, and I'm actually already on the compression stroke allegedly, because this dot you line up with that mark right there. So allegedly I'm already top dead center, so that means these, if that is top dead center, then that's why this thing ain't running. That thing is so fucking tight, it's not moving at all. What about the bottom one? Yep, the bottom one's loose like it's supposed to be, so we probably are actually top dead center. Let me try to explain what's going on here. If you get this on the compression stroke and get it to the top dead center, then both of these valves should be loose and you can wiggle them. If you're not top dead center when you get here on the compression stroke, these won't move at all. They'll be locked down. So the fact that I see this mark here, and I think I'm top dead center, this doesn't move, which would make you think you're on the wrong stroke. But that's why I felt this one on the bottom. The fact that I can move this one and it rattles, like if I turn my music off back there, you could hear it. It's rattling. that means we're on the right stroke. That valve lash is so fucking tight that this thing won't run. So combination spark plug and the fucking valve, I don't see how that sparked at all, and that valve is so fucking tight it's not gonna run. So let me adjust this. I just got this loose where it's finally rattling around, and it took quite a bit. Like, it was way too damn tight. I just wanted to make another clip real quick to note, like, this was insanely tight. There was no getting anything between there, and we're top dead center, so that's just wild. So I'm going with 3,000th on intake and 5,000th on exhaust. I'm not going to be able to record doing this, but I'm making another clip here because I thought this was relevant. This wasn't quite lining up perfectly, which wasn't keeping me here, and I wouldn't be exactly where I want to be here. I've seen a bunch of people do different ways of keeping this where they want it. This wrench was just heavy enough that it just perfectly holds it right there on the line where I want it. So I'm just gonna leave that there. Let me try to get my phone up in here. We still got some friction, but it's right there at it. If I tighten it anymore, I can't move this little bastard. So there's our top valve. I've already got it torqued. This is like a little square head on this thing. I grabbed it with needle nose pliers and then turned the nut with a wrench. That was the only way to get to it. So I got my tension, held my tension with the needle nose, like I said, but I removed this from my set and just went ahead and bent it because I needed it bent for this job so I could actually get it started in here. It takes a little bit of work. Once I get it started right there, I could leave it, then grab this to the side and hold it, tension it, get it where I want it, then let go of this and tighten the nut with the wrench. It was fun. Now the fun part is I get to do that upside down under here. I think I'm gonna lay with my feet that way on my back and have my arms up where I can like work like this. I think that's the idea. Oh, and my little top dead center thing, still working perfectly. Just don't need to touch it. So all I gotta do is get the bottom valve, and I've already got that one pulled. I have a second. Move out of the way. It's hard to grab this stuff with gloves. Come on, man. Tomfoolery. There we go. There's our 5,000ths, and I need to look up the spec. I'm gonna hit this with a wire brush and gap it because it's still, holy crap. Alright, I got my little spot here. I'm getting started. The 5,000 won't fit, so or 5,000ths won't fit, so it's definitely tight on the exhaust as well. I'm just laid out here in the grass. I threw on my work jacket that way. Yeah, it's pretty much what I got all this for, so I could lay in the dirt and work on stuff. So let's get this thing. I'm gonna loosen it up and do the same thing, but in a more fun spot. That's the second valve adjusted, and I came at it like this and grabbed that little square on the end of this thing, and then I twisted the wrench down from the bottom here. It's really hard to hold the camera and everything right here in this tight spot. The little square right there on the end, I held that and then got this the way I wanted it, and it's tight, but it still moves. If I tighten it any more than where it's at right now, it actually grabs the gauge and I can't move it. So there's my friction. It's tight. That's the bottom valve adjusted. I just need to gap that spark plug to spec and see what this thing does. Wish me luck. Alright. We're gapping roughly to 26. And I'm gonna see if this thing cranks up and runs. There's a good look at my spark plug after I cleaned it. I hit it with a wire brush and then gapped it. So it has proper gap. It's 26, whatever you want to call that. People do between 24 and 28, so I went dead in the center, 26. Yeah. All right. Let's try this again. Don't fall over, phone. All right. Neutral. Switch is on. I'm gonna choke it just to crank it real quick, I think. So, I can't get any air in this back tire, but I'm going to give it a run anyway because it won't kill it. Interesting having a bike that doesn't have a clutch on it, but it runs fine. It's good to go. Let me add one more clip here, finish up this video. This thing has been an adventure. We had to drill out the screws to be able to clean the carburetor. We had to reattach this crankcase vent to their pod filter because they crudely attached it and it wasn't done properly. Had to do the valve adjustment, drain the gas and put clean gas because that gas pure smelled like turpentine. And then the spark plug was actually smashed together at the tip, didn't have any gap at all, where I don't see how this thing ever sparked before. But I'm kind of happy with the result we got now. Let me make sure you're in neutral. Right. I win.